Toastmasters and friends. This one was a hard one for me because I struggled on what the heck to do, but thanks to David a few weeks ago, he said, just talk about basketball, you love basketball, so thanks for the idea. Well, I just wanted to give a little bit of history about basketball, and then after giving a little bit of history of where it came from and kind of move through to where it is today, and just tell you about the history of me playing basketball. I love and enjoy basketball, and I still play to this day. So let's begin. The basketball actually started back in December 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts. What had happened was Dr. Naismith, he's the one that came up with this idea. What he wanted to do was, it was a Christian school, and they were just rowdy, and they just needed something indoors to actually get the rowdiness down, bring it down. So he had to come up in 14 days. They only gave him 14 days. The dean of the school said, you know, come up, Dr. Naismith, come up with something and to get all this rowdiness away from our Christian, school boys. So he came up with basketball, and it started out very, simple. It had just baskets with a ball, and they kind of started out like soccer today. So they didn't really know what the heck to do, and they said it was too rough, and then they had to bring it back to just have some rules, and he actually had 13 rules, and I'll actually just go through them real quick. They said the ball may be thrown in a direction with one hand or both hands, which is a lot different than today. The ball may be batted in any directions, which today they don't even do that. A player cannot run with the ball, which, of course. The ball must be held in or between the hands. Okay, well, that's, what the heck? And then no shouldering, holding, pushing, striking, or tripping. Like, all right. So obviously you can tell back then in 1891 they were very rough. The number 6 is a foul, is striking at the ball with the fist. Okay, well, that's kind of weird. Either side may make 3 consecutive fouls. It shall count as a goal for the other opponent, which that's pretty unique, because I've never heard of that before. And now if you foul, you get 2 free throws. So I'll kind of go through that here. The goal may be made when the ball is thrown or batted from the ground into a basket and stays there. So back in the day, they just put a basket on the ground, as opposed to now it's 10 feet in the air. When the ball goes out of bounds, it shall be thrown into field and played by the first person touching it. So that's kind of unique. So you can actually go out of bounds and get the ball, and then you get the ball back. And then the umpire shall judge of the men and shall note the fouls, notify the referee 3 consecutive fouls have been made. So it's just, again, there's a lot of weird things. And then the last 3 are the referee shall be, the last 2 is the time shall be 2-minute, 15-minute halves, and 5-minute rest in between. And then the side making the most goals at the end will be declared the winners. Duh. So that's how it kind of started. And then basketball over the years, they, when in the 50s, 60s, they had the real high shorts, and they had the rims where you really couldn't dunk on it. Many people didn't dunk back then. It was more of a passing game, a shooting game. It was very boring, to be honest with you, back then. But they had more skill. They had a lot more skill back then. Nowadays, it's basically just one-on-one basketball, and it's just people shooting, running, and gunning. But back then, it was good to watch because you had more talent, more skills. They were more plain. They had the small shorts, the tight shirts, everything. They weren't built. Today they're just enormously built. So over the time in the history, it's gotten better as far as style-wise. People, they're looking better with the armbands and everything of that nature. They didn't wear that. They were very plain and simple. They just had their shirt and shorts. But basketball is very, very complex. It's 5 guys on a team, 5 on 5. Usually you have 5 subs, and then you have home and away, obviously. And then what happens is you just play 20-minute. In college, you play 20-minute halves. In NBA, the pros, you play 12-minute quarters, so it's a little bit different. And the rules are a lot more different in college than it is in the NBA. So really, what I want to get into now is that's kind of the history of basketball. And if many of you don't know it or watch it, I don't enjoy NBA. I'm more of a college. I played basketball since I was a little kid. I played in college. Didn't get the opportunity for NBA, which obviously most of us don't. But what I really enjoyed about basketball is just the competitive nature of everyone that plays basketball. They're out there just hustling, and it's a good stress reliever, especially for me. I'm 35 years old. I play 4 times a week now. I'm playing in church leagues or, you know, pretty competitive leagues, or just playing pickup ball at the YMCA with a bunch of friends. But really, it's just something that takes me away from the hustle and bustle of work and the stresses of work and just life in itself, and kind of get you out there and play. And you can rough around, but you know, as you get older, you wake up the next day, you're like, gosh dang, I don't remember my knees hurting like this or whatever. But basketball is something dear to my heart. You know, like I said, I played high school basketball. I was all state, all everything in high school, and could have gone to any Division II, Division III schools, and there was a couple of Division Is, but I wasn't ready for college, so I went to a junior college where I played basketball with Ben Wallace. If anyone don't know him, he's been in the league 14 years in the NBA, recently with the Detroit Pistons. He's been an all-star, just basically a defensive rebounding guy, so I had the honor of playing hoops with him, so that was pretty cool. And then I went to Toledo, and then so I've had the opportunity to be in the high school and collegiate area. So basketball is very dear to me, and really that's the history. And I just like to finish with a quote from Michael Jordan, which to me is one of the best, actually the best basketball player in history, just for his work ethic, just his game, just what he's done. You know, just had the natural athletic talent, but he still worked as if he didn't have it. So his quote was, that I actually read this morning, is, "My attitude is that if you push me towards something that you think is a weakness, then I will turn that perceived weakness into a strength." So, thank you.